And so we need to look around and we need to say, education is the great equalizer. And what we have to do is to make sure that everybody has an opportunity for not only a good education, but an education that is free, and that we make sure that our siblings, our sons and daughters, our grandchildren do not get so entrenched in debt that they never can move forward. We also have to work on making sure that we have medical for all, that everybody has an opportunity to make sure that they can buy a home, and we just have to work together. So together we can do this.
I grew up in a family of 4 girls. I was the second of 4 girls, and I was raised in the Philippines, and where women were, seen and treated differently. But again, the key to staying above and being ahead is education. So I echo the comments of Supervisor Monica Brown. Education is the key to success, and education is really the greatest equalizer. And we're not just fighting for equality, but equity. So let's move forward. Let's find common ground. I know that we have differences in many other areas, but we have common ground, and that is to continue to fight for equity, equality for women and for all. So thank you.
This is about all of you, but the most important thing to remember is, we're talking about the issues today, but let's not silence the issues. Let's keep talking about the issues day after day after day until there is what? Until there is equality. Can you all say that for me? Until there is equality. Come on, one more time. Until there is equality. As a person of color, hey, I see it, and I see it frequently not happening. And as I was talking to some of the folks earlier, it's about all of us in this room, all of us in the city of Vallejo that can make equality happen. And if we don't do it, we won't have it. So let's not silence our voices now. Let's keep the voices loud. Let's have the voices heard. Today is about you. Let's keep it going. Let's let our voices be heard.
Whenever I do this, I want you guys to say, "We march." So can we try it right now?
We march!
Thank you. You sound beautiful. A blessing for the women who pray with their feet. It has gotten so tough that we mothers, sisters, daughters, and wives have declared enough. And so we rise to march against the lies, for we are the women who pray with our feet. We will cling to hope and never see defeat, until all hatred vanishes from this world, so that all women are treated with respect, no matter her class or age, religion or orientation, national origin or race.
We march!
We women of every faith and every color from every nation, regardless of station, stand together crying out against this hatred. While some seek to roll back the clock, we know that there is a better future to be unlocked. Until all men decide to join with us in solidarity, like those sweet souls who have joined us here today, recognizing that every human being deserves respect and full equality, not only on paper, but in practice.
We march!
We will build our world on love and justice, and ladies, now is the time for us all to vote, to work, and to pray for the dawning of this new day. Until all women are safe from violence so that a woman can exist in any space without fear.
We march!
May the loving energy we feel as our voices ring out in unison bring forth our highest self. May it envelop all of our sisters and brothers who have gathered here today and echo outwards towards those who were unable to join us. Until no woman goes to bed feeling thirsty or hungry, nor remains homeless in this or any country, and healthcare is a necessity guaranteed to all.
We march!
For all these reasons and so many more, we gather here as sisters, like our brave foremothers did before us, envisioning a brighter future that we will build for her. May every step we have taken today bring us one step closer to this day. May this divine energy flowing among us grant us the strength to move forward without fear, to keep working towards a better world that we know will appear. And until then,
we march!
Thank you very much.
The first of our keynote speakers. Liat is the mother of an adult son, Brian Meitzenheimer. She retired from the federal government after 37 years, and she's lived in Vallejo since 1985. She currently serves on the board of directors of the Vallejo Naval Museum and Humane Society of the North Bay. She was appointed to the board of directors for the Greater Recreation Board of Directors, in 2001. Is that correct? And GVRD, and served until January 2018. She was on the steering committee for the City of Vallejo Participatory Budgeting Committee from 2015 to 2017. Now, this is only a partial list, but other commissions, boards, groups, Vallejo Community Change Coalition, Vallejo Police Chiefs Advisory Board, Fresh Air Vallejo, Citizens for Vallejo, Voices of Vallejo, and lots more. I present Liat Meisenheimer.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to talk a little bit on two issues that are really near and dear to my heart. And I'm so glad to hear that the mayor said that when you want something done, you keep talking about it until something happens. And housing in Vallejo is a key issue that we need to really start talking about, and affordable housing. One of the things that I've noticed over the years is that we have more and more of our seniors that are being tossed out of Vallejo. And they're going to city council and they're talking to their representatives and they're having to find new places to move. And you know, when you have your family here and it's everything you know, when you can't afford to live here anymore, you can't just move to the next city. We're moving people out for miles and miles, and they get into unfamiliar area and places that they don't know. They move away from their family. And being a senior, I want to make sure that we address the issues for seniors here, that we maintain and protect our stock of affordable housing, and that the city really starts to pay attention to the developments that they have here to make sure that they include affordable housing. Because we do want to have progress, we do want to have people that are coming in that have disposable income, but we also want to protect the people that are here. We don't want the people that are here to have to leave because they no longer can afford to live in Vallejo because the housing cost is too high. One of the things, you know, that you hear all the time where new people coming to Vallejo is that they move to Vallejo because of the diversity. Well, you have to keep diversity here by making sure that the people who live here can afford to continue to live here, and that we're not displacing them because we have people that have more disposable income moving into the city. We want to make sure that you protect those people and so that they can stay here and that we do enjoy the diversity that we have now. We don't want to start moving to gentrification. So one of the things that we're going to start working on, and it started last year, we're working with Urban Habitat and the Baha'i Association, which is a group that covers public health for Contra Costa County, their umbrella group. So we've been starting our meetings, which we're going to roll out to the community to talk about the housing needs in Vallejo. And we want to make sure that any housing, because right now Vallejo is really built out. There isn't any large plots of land that we're going to be able to build more housing. So a lot of the housing that we're going to have is going to be infill. But in that plan, we want to make sure that whatever development comes to town, that affordable housing is part of that component, so everybody can afford to have a place to live. We want to make sure that when we have our families here, that the kids that go to school and come back and get jobs, that they can live here in Vallejo too, that they're not tossed out of Vallejo and they have to live separate from the families that are here. We want to make sure the seniors that have to maybe downsize, that they can find a place to afford to live here, and that they are able to make sure that they maintain a residence here without being tossed out, because the housing costs are really escalating now. We also want to make sure that we have home ownership. A lot of our homes, when we had the economic downturn, ended up being investment properties here in Vallejo. So we have a lot of people that own property here that aren't really invested in Vallejo, except they just collected rent. We want to make sure that those houses, instead of going to investors, that they're going to people who are actually living in the house. So you'll be hearing more. We'll be making sure that we get it out into the media, that we're going to be having these houses, these meetings, so that we can include the community to talk about the housing needs, talk about concerns. We want to make sure that we start advocating for renters' rights here in Vallejo so that people are not being taken advantage of. and that they have somewhere to go to talk to somebody to get advice and help when they're having a problem with where they're going to live. One of the biggest problems that we have in Vallejo right now is our homeless condition. People think that we're accumulating people here from other cities, but what they don't know is that a lot of the people that are homeless here actually lived here and got tossed out of the homes that they were living in. And when you look out in the street and you see that we have seniors that are out there, especially senior women that are living on the streets and living in cars, it's a real issue. So we want to make sure that we start looking at when people start having a problem in their apartment building and they can't afford to live there, that they have somewhere to go to get some help so that they can stay and maintain their homes here. Because if you have to worry about housing, it affects your health. And we want everybody to have good health here. And housing shouldn't be one of the things that they have to worry about, because one of the biggest issues they have with public health right now is that people who worry about housing. And so we want to get them before they actually get to a point of being homeless, and to make sure that we can try to assist them to stay in their homes and then have a better quality of life here in Vallejo. So we're hoping everybody stays concerned, and as the mayor said, we're going to keep talking about it until we get it done.
That's right.
And then on that same line with health, one of the things that's important for people is quality of life. Everybody has a right to have clean air, clean water, and a safe environment. So one of the groups that I've been working with for the last 3 years is Fresh Air Vallejo. We're currently fighting a cement plant here in Vallejo because it's detrimental to the health, not only to the people who live in that area, but for all of Vallejo. As somebody who recently started having respiratory problems, I understand the need for air. Everybody wants to breathe. Everybody wants to breathe clean air. We want our people to all have a safe place to live, and make sure that when we move toward economic development, that we do that not at the cost of the people's health here in Vallejo. So we're hoping this year that maybe we'll come to a close, that we won't have to have this fight that's been going on for 4 years.
Amen.
But one of the other things that's important is that we try now as a city that we develop an environmental justice policy for the city of Vallejo, which means that we don't have to do this fight every time somebody comes here with a bad idea. We can develop an environmental justice policy that sets the line so that anybody else that comes here, if you're coming here to pollute, keep moving. Because this isn't the place for you, because people in Vallejo want a clean environment, and we want to make sure that we protect our citizens here, and that we don't bring business in at the cost of the health and the quality of life for the people that live here. So we'll keep this fight going. Hopefully we're going to end that one, but look to the future that we're going to start talking about environmental justice for the city of Vallejo.
All right.
So keep talking, keep working, keep involved. It only happens when all of us start pushing and making sure that our voices are heard. Thank you.
Mina Diaz was born in Aguas Calientes, Mexico, and immigrated to the United States with her family when she was 5 years old. She's an activist, businesswoman, mother, and proud grandmother. She is and this is the abbreviated version, okay? She is the founder and director for Diaz and Loero Centro Latino, a nonprofit organization that provides various services to meet the needs of the community. Her organization empowers people by holding naturalization workshops and voter registration outreach, enabling many to be first-time voters and their families. The Centro also provides Know Your Rights and various other resources and workshops. She is the co-founder and co-director of Ser Latino program at Vallejo City Unified School District, a program that assists Latino students in achieving a higher education while also working with their parents to empower them to learn how to navigate through the educational system in the United States. She developed that. She made it happen. Nina is an activist for human rights, immigration reform, and keeping families together. She believes in empowering our youth with a strong education system that is affordable and available to all. Every day she continues to work so that all people be considered equal and treated with dignity and respect. I give you Mina Diaz.
So I'm so happy and excited to be part of this march. I've been part of the march since it started a couple of years ago, and I firmly believe that we as a community are so strong. I mean, there's marches all over the country. I mean, they've been reduced this year, but there's still a lot of them all over the country. Vallejo is not one to ever step back. We always step forward, and this is the proof. You know, a lot of people have left, but we have a lot more folks downtown. So we march to have our voice heard. We march for equality. We march for those that are coming after us. And one of the things that I feel that's very important as an immigrant woman is that we teach our daughters, our nieces, and our young girls how to feel proud of themselves, how to love themselves, how to not allow anybody to take advantage of them, how to not be part of bullying or be bullied. It's very important to raise strong women, women that fight for an education, because as I used to tell my daughter, who's 28 years old now, she was 4, and I used to always tell her, Marlene, you can be anything you want to be. Why? And she would look at me and she would say, because I'm Marlene Diaz. And I would say, and don't you ever forget that. The same thing I would say to my boys. So I'm not just saying the girls, the boys too. Don't give me no dirty looks. But it's important that there's equality. It's important that there's equality because for too long, you know, we have been considered as, oh, the housewife, or the person that, you know, takes the kids to the school. Well, yeah, we do that. But we're also professionals. We're also people that have careers and degrees and are out there fighting for the justice of everyone, not just ourselves. So for me, when I think of women, I think of all women, from the woman that's picking fruit in the fields, to the woman that's at the university studying to get her degree, to the woman that is out there feeding her family, working at McDonald's or whatever job she has to be able to hustle and put that food on the table, to the woman that's a CEO, that's running a company, to the woman that's a manager, to the woman that's out on the street, you know, with her family because she had to run away from an abusive relationship due to domestic violence. We are survivors. That's what we are. And from the moment my family came here when I was 5 years old from Mexico, my father said to me one thing, and that stays with me forever. Well, he said a lot of things, but I'll say one. I won't say everything he said. He told us, all 4 of us, I'm the oldest of 4 siblings. I have 2 sisters and a brother. He said, we traveled more than 3,000 miles so that you guys would have a better life. Don't disappoint me because I left everything behind. I left my family. I left my culture. I left my language. Little did he know California would have so many Latinos here, and everybody's speaking Spanish these days, but he said that to us, right? And he said, don't ever, ever forget where you come from, your language and what you are, because you come from kings and queens, and don't you ever forget that. But embrace this country that's given us the opportunity to have a better life. And when you make it, when you're in a position that you have comfortably found yourself a position in the workforce, and you have your home, and you're stable, then you give back. And that's exactly what my sisters and I did. We decided to form the Centro Latino, Diaz and Loera Centro Latino, because we were those immigrant kids. We were those kids that were interpreting when we were 6 years old with me. We ran into so many barriers along the way that all immigrants' family know, but as a woman, add that to it. How difficult is it to be trying to raise your children, and I'm going to say this, you know, I was 18 when I had my first son. I was 17 and pregnant. My classmates were walking, graduating on the same day I had my son. How ironic is that? But I'll tell you one thing. The day I had Damian, I told myself he was going to have the bed of a king because I was going to make that happen. So with a book in one hand and my child in the other, it happened. I have 3 children. My children are 33, 31, and 28, and then my little sunshine, AJ, who's my grandson. They all know, the boys know that you treat women right, like you want your mother to be treated. You don't disrespect, because you wouldn't want your mother disrespected or your sister disrespected. And my daughter knows that she does not have to put up with any, excuse the language, crap from any man. Why? because she's Marlene Diaz, remember at the beginning? So I ask all of you to continue to fight for what you believe in, to help and empower those that are coming behind us, because what kind of legacy do you want to leave? What do you want people to remember you for? Me, and I had to write this down because I was up late with my grandson, so bear with me. An activist for human rights. I want everybody represented equally. We all want the same things. We all deserve the same things. Fair immigration reform. Whether you're for immigration or against it, we need something to change because what we have right now is not happening. Equal representation for everyone. Everyone. Whether you're a woman, you're a man, you're from the LGBTQ community, you are an immigrant, whatever your background is, people need to respect you in the same manner that you need to respect others, because that's the only way that we move forward. A fair living wage for working families. Now I'm sounding like a politician, right? Fair living wage for working families. That's important. Look at what's happening. People are not making enough money to support their families. And women, we have it a little harder at that. You know, so that's wrong. That has to change. Creating a strong economy, but removing corruption from it. Because we want to have a strong economy. We want a strong Vallejo. We want Vallejo to progress. But please do things that are going to be beneficial to Vallejo folks. Because this is where we're at. I ain't going anywhere. I don't know about you guys. I've been here since 1984. I'm not planning on leaving. My kids have put their roots in the ground. We're not leaving. My father said to us a couple of times that someday we would go back home. This is our home. We're not going anywhere. The affordable health care that Leah was talking about, how sad it is, and I worked over 27 years for different counties, Napa, Solano, and Contra Costa, to see people that have worked all their lives, that all of a sudden develop an illness, you know, some sort of health problem, and they have to pay what they don't have to be able to be taken care of. We need to have the clinics that we have in Vallejo. We need to have more mobile clinics. We need to mobilize this in a way where if we can't fix the country, we can at least start at home. Because that's how it starts. It starts here and it's a ripple effect where we're going to help everybody. So I'll leave you with this. You know, never allow anybody, whether you're a woman or you're a man, to bully you. You know, this happens at the school, this happens at the job, at the businesses, this happens in the city, this happens everywhere. There's no place for bullying. And if you want to come up against a strong woman, then do it. Because we have a lot of strong women sitting here, and we have a lot of strong women outside. And people need to remember that, you know, what you don't want for you, you don't want for anybody else. So make sure that you empower the next generation. Make sure that you advocate for the next generation, and make sure that you do decisions and things that are right for the next generation. Because at some point, we'll be on our way out. It's the kids. It's the millennials. Looking at you, Natalie. It's the kids that are going to be able to turn this city around. We have so much potential. Let's use it. Y viva las mujeres, okay? Viva the women. Thank you.